Hi, this is Alex Shade, and I am following up from Week 9's discussion on electronic health records. The first question that I had posted on the Blackboard discussion thread was, the United States government has mandated interoperable electronic health record compliance by 2014. However, installing an EHR does not guarantee its adoption, and it is difficult to tell how physicians are actually using EHRs once they are acquired, as quoted by Freud in 2008, page 6. Therefore, what mechanisms, parameters, and/or standards should be put in place that balances the two concerns of ensuring privacy and easing data portability? Throughout the last week, we have had a barrage of different opinions and thoughts and comments pertaining to this specific question. And what I would like to do is to take the next few minutes to discuss and to summarize and to provide a very holistic overview, if you will, of what we have learned from week 9. Yes, the electronic health record, EHR, as it is commonly known, is a fact of life. It is coming and requires compliance on multiple levels, whether it be with one's primary care physician, CMS, insurance, or whatnot. And in many cases, it is already here. For some of you, such as myself, EHR is available and is accessible to me through my own primary care physician. An individual's EHR is a legal document. The legal EHR has to do three things. It must, first and foremost, provide adequate clinical documentation, present that documentation in a way that tells the patient's story of care, and finally capture all information that complies with external and internal mandates. As EHR becomes more widespread, the transparency of the software used to gain complete EHR access will have to be brought in to accommodate the 2014 requirements. When it comes to designing specific EHR software, one must consider how it will impact both the provider and the end user. As we move forward, there will need to be TIE as in as in technology teams in place, ones that are current on the safety concerns that impact you, me, and the rest of the American people, in addition to preparing them for future initiatives and compliance. In response to the points made about quote-unquote hacking into the system, yes, parameters and encryption codes and keys for locking and unlocking patient records are not only necessary but also a requirement. To address data portability, Lauren Wood, fellow colleague and student at George Washington University, thinks one way to make data portable is to ensure documentation of core measures and other important patient identifiers. From a primary care standpoint, documentation of immunizations and preventative measures, for example, colonoscopies, mammograms, and pap smears, that's a great way for JCAHO to ensure standards are met and also standardized data can be used and can be portable. Healthcare centers and other medical providers must adhere to and be held accountable to increasingly high standards. A standard of excellence requires an approach that reflects strategic thinking, which would ultimately lead to strategic planning. EHR is different because the technology used to create and maintain is going to change. It will continue to be upgraded, if you will. It will require constant utilization to ensure that it is functioning optimally. With the assistance of the FDA, CMS, and the Office of the National Coordinator for Health Information Technology, the main governmental agencies or bodies, if you will, that are involved with EHR regulation, adhering to these agencies' policies is an absolute must. But it is also imperative to keep up to date on current IT policies. As offered by student Hope Lang, she believes that the IT team or provider must do quality checks to ensure that adherence is being followed. Inspections are also a great idea. According to Alma Joy Allen, the government could mandate that hospitals must meet or address specific benchmarks along the continuum of EHR adoption to ensure full operational use by the specific date of delivery. Clara Mutandiro thinks one of the things we need to do is to engage IT and use them as our quality assurance for security measures. We must give it the adoption of EHR. I'm sorry, let me rephrase. Quote unquote, we must give it, i.e., EHR, a chance before we shoot it down. Additionally, she goes on to state that EHR implementation is inevitable because there are a lot of supporters from legislators, hospital administrators, payers, and even physician advocacy groups. The answers to the questions of achieving true information security and privacy varies across the board. Some of the varied responses include individuals needing to take their own responsibility for the security of their health information, much like personal banking or with your own credit card information. With that being said, let me ask you the following as it pertains to the accountability factor. Even if I am proactive and due diligent with safeguarding, monitoring, and triple checking my health information, what happens when the system itself fails? How does one hold accountable? Especially when our own government is not 100% sure what measures and parameters should be put in place when we are looking to answer the accountability factor. Well, Lauren Wood takes a stab at answering this question by reminding us that perhaps one of the reasons everyone is having such a hard time trying to figure out how to make an EHR secure is that there has not been a comparable system to compare it to in the past. EHR would be an enormous interconnected system of protected data, and she thinks that it may confound people on how to make a system that large safe. Until the government invests serious time and attention to the security of a universal EHR, she and I don't know if we'll find an answer on how to keep it 100% secure. Another point we must consider is the longitudinal and qualitative data that is not yet factored into the mix. Conceptualizing what EHR is going to look like at a national level, let alone on a universal level, is quite overwhelming. Think about all the players and how each interacts. In addition to their movement across so many different lines, whether it be state, locally, nationally, or internationally. Perhaps that is why it is good to have missions and visions and short and long-term goals. As it stands today, March 14, 2011, governmental standards are not yet written in stone. As time continues to draw nearer to the 2014 deadline, let us hope that with the evolution of time, there will be we will have a development of guidelines, standards, and objectives for attaining these EHR goals. Again, this was Alex Shade, electronic health record presentation week 9, signing off March 14th. 2011. Thank you so much for all who have participated in this thread, in this line of questioning. I value your insight, your wisdoms, and also your thought-provoking questions. Here's to enjoying spring break. Cheers.